So I'm pleased to welcome Janis Lapointe to the podcast. Janis, welcome to Spatial Report. How are you?
Hi, Allison. I'm good. You?
Good, I'm good, thanks. We're so happy to speak with you today. So let's start off by getting you to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you do at Esri Canada.
So my name is Janis Lapointe. I work as a technical solutions specialist for Esri Canada. I live in Quebec City, and so I work with the Quebec region. Mostly what I do is I help our team and our clients with technical oriented requests, demos, presentation, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Excellent. Yes. And I know you did a presentation for us about ArcGIS Solutions and how you started working with those. So why don't you kind of give us a little heads up about how you got started working with ArcGIS Solutions?
Yeah, so I started exploring and working with the solutions for a presentation that me and my colleague were doing at a conference here in Quebec last October. And we knew the solutions were a quick way to get started with different ArcGIS components, and that there was like a lot of different workflows that you could do with those solutions because there are almost 150 of them available. And we wanted to address asset management and field work workflows, mostly in a municipal context for this conference. And we also did not want to spend several days configuring apps, maps, or and forms for only a 20-minute presentation. So we chose to deploy and showcase the tree management solution while making just a few edits to some of the components.
Nice, nice. So, tree management solution, what does it do? I'm really curious.
Yeah, so the tree management solution is meant mostly to create an inventory of publicly owned trees. It's also meant to help streamline some of the like inspection and maintenance activities regarding those trees. It that's just like one of a few of the things it can do. Like a lot of other solutions, it can also it has components to inform the public, for example, through, inform and engage, let's say. It has components like web maps, web apps that can just present a visual for the public to see, like, where are the trees, how are they, what's their condition. And for forms also to report maybe issues that they see in their neighborhoods or on their way to work or whatever. And the one thing I could also mention is that there are, for example, a lot of dashboard visuals in the solution to help with team leads or decision makers get an overview of like the condition of the assets, in this case, the trees. So overall, it's meant to really help with efficiently managing tree assets and potentially planning actions and improvements to these assets. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds like it's a lot, but hopefully it wasn't too bad in terms of putting everything together and inserting data. So I'm sure that's a solution that I really am curious to learn more about. But I also understand that you also work with another ArcGIS solution called Roadway Management. So can you tell us a little bit more about what that particular solution does?
Yeah, so it's very similar to the tree management solution in the sense that it has the same objective. Helps you create an inventory of publicly owned roads.
Mhm.
um, so same thing, it can help streamline inspection and maintenances. For example, if you want to do routine pavement inspections, like that solution helps you achieve that. And I won't get too much into the details because in the end it's a bit of the same than the tree management. But I specifically used it to demo pavement markings, field activities. So that's one thing you could do with it, but only one of many. It includes a bit of different components. For example, in that one you have a quick capture app, which is a field app with like big buttons. So it's super easy to fill out once you're in the field. You just click on the buttons, and you can record like a line or something that like the crews would go over with. So super interesting. Yeah.
That's great. I'm sure a lot of our users are interested in how they can access those solutions, right? So can you let us know how they can get them and like what they typically include?
Yeah, so the you can access the solutions through the app launcher, either in your ArcGIS Online landing page or ArcGIS Enterprise if that's what you use. I will just say that for ArcGIS Enterprise, it starts at 10.9. So if you have anything under that, you won't see the solutions in your app launcher. So once you click on that and you are now on the ArcGIS Solutions page and you get different cards for each solution and you can scroll through them, you can filter them by activities or search for keywords. Once you click on a specific one, you'll get a bit more information. So you'll get the full description, you'll see the components list, you'll also get a little video or some slides explaining it in detail. And if you feel like the solution is good for you, you can just click on the deploy button and it will deploy in your portal, either ArcGIS Online or Enterprise, in a specific folder. And from there, you can access the different components. You can modify them or work on them. And typically, what they would include in those components are the feature layers for your data. And then you would get web maps that would include these feature layers and web apps that would include these maps and different visuals like dashboards. One thing you might also get are different forms or apps for field work, like quick capture I mentioned, maybe survey 123, and maybe field maps apps. Well, not it's just a map, but yeah. One more thing is that you might get with it a desktop project template for ArcGIS Pro, so you can do a bit more work, a bit more advanced work. Yeah, but it can really vary depending on which solutions. Yeah.
Right. I think that's the key point. Depending on the solution that you select, you could get a whole bunch of different things. So it really is dependent on what you choose. So Janis, we're just about to wrap things up, but we really do appreciate you kind of introducing us to a couple of these solutions. And I know as you're working through them, you're kind of going in the back of your mind, what are some of the key benefits to all this? So to wrap things up, maybe share some of the benefits of using ArcGIS Solutions.
Yeah, so really the main benefit of using the solutions is that it's going to save you a lot of time and resources in configuring different GIS resources for yourself or for your team. So I've thought of two different scenarios to like maybe image how it can help you. So scenario one, let's say you're very knowledgeable in and skilled in GIS. So you could theoretically build anything you want. You don't really need the solutions to help you do that. But even if you're an expert in GIS, you might want to get a project good to go like quickly without having to spend days configuring data and apps. In that case, ArcGIS Solutions is the perfect way to achieve this. So even if you feel like the solution isn't perfect and that you need to configure it a bit differently, you can definitely customize it without starting from scratch completely. Just change a few of the settings in the different components. And since that's one scenario, and let's say you're not an expert in GIS, I feel like the solution is even more helpful because if you don't really know where to start or like what's available in ArcGIS Online. Once you deploy the solution, you can just take your time to go through the different components and explore that and familiarize yourself with them and they're already configured. So there is there's not a lot of work to do starting from there, except just explore them and add data to it eventually. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, as you know from this podcast, we love talking about ArcGIS Solutions. So I'm so glad that you're able to join us today to kind of share your experience with it. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much. That was Janis Lapointe. She is the Technical Solutions Specialist with the Quebec region, and she joined us today from Quebec City.